it's Maya here, and this is my 2016 wrap-up and my 2017 reading goals. Now, I had quite a lot of goals for 2016, and I didn't really excel in most of them, so I will be giving myself a lot less goals for 2017. But let's first talk about the goals that I managed to finish. And the first of those is the Goodreads reading challenge, which I always set at something that I know that I will reach. So I set it at 66 books. But when I was at 90 books and there were still a lot of months left of the year, I switched it up to 100. And in the end, I finished reading 117 things. Of those 117, 59 were full-length novels or anthologies or non-fiction. 38 were graphic works, comics, manga, one art book, graphic novels. 18 were short fiction, novellas, short stories, plays, and 2 were audiobooks. And I'm pretty happy with that. I think 50% of full-length works is really good. I do not mark all the short stories that I read on Goodreads, but I do mark some, especially if I own them. If they are little booklets or on my Kindle, I usually like to mark them as ebook own and read. Of the 117 books I read, 69 were written by women, by 41 different authors. 37 were written by men, and that was 34 different authors. And then I had 16 written by teams of men and women, usually graphic novels or comic trades. So that means I read 55% women, 31.5% men, and 13.5% teams. So those were all the statistics that I followed and my Goodreads reading numbers. Second goal that I managed to reach was that I wanted to continue to do more reviews and wrap-ups. And I did manage to do a wrap-up for every month. I haven't done one for December yet, but when I manage to film that one and post it, I will have a wrap-up for every month of 2016, which I think is really well, because I think I only did like 5 wrap-ups for 2015. I only did one separate review video that was for the Gem comic early on in the year. And I still don't know what is my best way of making wrap-ups, because I don't like doing one book reviews. I feel like I don't have enough to say about a lot of the books that I read for them to take one full video. But also sometimes doing wrap-ups stresses me out because I have read so many things and I will have to psych myself up to talk about all of them. So I'm not quite sure how I want to do this in the future, but while I figure it out, I will continue doing wrap-ups. Now let's talk about the goals that I failed. So I had set myself 8 specific books that I wanted to read in 2016. And this is something that I will definitely not be doing this year, because for some reason, if I set the book, that means that I will be less likely to read it. I don't know why that is. But I had set 5 science fiction and fantasy books and 3 classics that I wanted to read. And I managed to read 3 of those science fiction and fantasy books. I managed to read The Privilege of the Sword by Ellen Kushner, The Golem and the Genie by Helen Becker, and A Natural History of Dragons by Mary Brennan. And I managed to start the audiobook of Dracula, which was one of those classics that I wanted to read. But that's it. I also wanted to continue reading the Poirot books by Agatha Christie in order, but I only managed to read 1 this year. My library, for some reason, didn't have The Murder on the Orient Express, perhaps the most famous one. I think their copies had just gone missing over the years, because I'm quite sure when I read it the first time, I had read it from the library, so I asked them to order it so I can read it. I could have skipped it since I have read it before, but I didn't want to. I want to read all of them in order. So I'll continue doing that in 2017, but I will not set it as a separate goal. I will just continue reading them. I also wanted to post 2 videos on my guide to finish science fiction and fantasy during the first half of the year, and I managed to post 1 during the whole year. And then my final goal was that I wanted to read only my own books during the first 3 months of the year, and I failed with that one also. I think I read 5 of my own books, and I think at least one of those was one that I had bought in 2016 and not in 2015, because the goal was to read things that had already been on your TBR. I read 3 physical books and 2 ebooks, and the rest of them were library books, because all of my reservations, I had reserved a lot of books that had been released in 2015 and were just now starting to come into the library, and all of them came in at the same time, so I ended up only reading library books. So that was the whole wrap-up of my 2016 goals. Let's talk about my 2017 ones. The first is my Goodreads challenge. Like I said earlier, I always set this at something that I know I will reach, and this year I set it at 55. I will set it between 50 to 66 every year and then see how well I do. I just want to be able to see how many books I've read from the bar on Goodreads. So 55 is my goal, which I think is a great goal, because I also want to find a job this year and draw more. And the only one other specific goal that I will set for myself is to read more of my own books. And this will not be just this vague goal. I want to read 2 of my own books a month, preferably physical ones, but ebooks will do also. At first I was thinking about reading 2 of my physical books and 1 ebook every month, but I think that would be too much because I also do want to read library books at the same time. So this would allow me to read my own books and library books, and if I read 2 a month, I have read 24 by the end of the year. So I decided to take part in the Mount TBR reading challenge by a blog called My Reader's Block, and I will link it down below. And they have different tiers, and I chose the Mont Blanc tier, which is to read 24 books. And if I do well, I would really like to up it to Mount Vancouver, which is 36 of your own books. So my goals are just to read at least 55 books and 2 of my own books every month. Channel-wise, I don't have a lot of specific goals. I just like to keep posting regularly. I did post more than 1 video per week the last year. I looked at all the videos that I had posted. I can't remember the number, but it was like something like 55, so more than 1 a week. There might have been some weeks when I didn't post, and then some that I posted too. So that's something that I'd like to continue doing, posting regularly, about once a week. And I'd also like to take part in a live show. I have never taken part in a live show, but that is something that I'd like to do this year. So if you're planning on doing one at some point during the year, tweet me or something if you'd like to have me take part. And I'll try to keep my eyes open as well. So these are my goals. I hope your 2017 has been to a good start. Let me know if you have also done a 2017 goal video. I really like watching these. And that's all from me for now. I'll see you in my next video.